Mic check, mic check, mic check. Can I get a number one in the comment section if you can hear me? Number one, let me get an audio check, please. Let me get an audio check. Can you guys hear me? William says he can hear me. You guys can hear me? And ladies and gentlemen, we are live. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Late Night Live Hour. It's your host with the most, Brother B. And you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. And I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an overdue live hour. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for my absence. I'm sure that after tonight's show, I'll make it make sense. But, ladies and gentlemen, the name of tonight's episode is Brother B is going to be dissolving TMM appliance repair. That's right, folks. I'm going to be going ahead and I'm going to be dissolving my business. And I'm going to tell you why in tonight's episode. But before we do that, we got to get into the politics. We got to talk the talk and we got to talk stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please, let's go ahead and pay the bills here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Live Hour with Brother B. I'd like to take this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to give a special shout out to one of our sponsors. In fact, our premier sponsor. And I'd like to share the stage here with one of our sponsors. Allow me to bring them to the stage here. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to tonight's sponsor. For some odd reason, the tab closed. So allow me to reopen it. And let me get into it. And there we go. All right, let me share my screen with you fine folks. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to tonight's episode of Industry News. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take this opportunity and give a special shout out to tonight's show's sponsor. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight's show is sponsored by Marcone Appliance Parts. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. For the best OEM parts, the largest inventory, most diverse product line, best customer service in the industry, you want to go on over to msaworld.com. But I'm not here to talk about that. What I'm here to talk about is their MSA World, their technical bulletin resource, their schematic resource, their wiring diagram resource. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. People often ask me, where do I find information on how to make these repairs? People often ask me, Brother B, how can I find out the service bulletins? How can I get exclusive training? You want to go on over to msaworld.com. Please sign up. Get your all your service manuals from here, your wiring manuals and so forth. Tell them Brother B sent you. All right, we got that out the way. Next, ladies and gentlemen, while we're talking industry news, I believe I forgot the city. She told me, so I can't advertise here. Sorry, I'll double back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, another thing I want to talk about while I have you on tonight's episode of industry news is that's right, ASTI 2026 is right around the corner. It's going down January 19th, and the city is going to be Kansas City, Missouri. Okay, so why am I showing you this? In case you don't know, ASTI is a wonderful place to go, meet other service technicians, talk business, meet manufacturers, sign up with them, ask them those questions about their product. You have that curious question about, this particular unit. Go speak to the manufacturer directly. Sign up with them, become factory authorized. You'll meet other vendors out there, such as myself. And it's a wonderful place to keep track of the industry and stay adept of everything that's going on. So again, if you want more information, go on over to ASTI.us. Again, ASTI.us. Now, do me a favor if you do go over there. Tell them the brother B sent you, okay? I'll explain to you why in a few here. That serves a purpose. All right, that got that out the way. Okay, also, ladies and gentlemen, there's another big conference right around the corner. In case you can't make that one, you can also come to this one. Let's see. Share this tab. Events, MSA Convention 2026. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in case you can't make ASTI, here's a wonderful alternative. MSAworld.com. Again, this is the 2026 convention. It's going to be held in Las Vegas, Nevada, October 26th to the 29th, 2026. So you got plenty of time to buy your tickets. But again, wonderful place to get training, wonderful place to connect with the manufacturers, warranty companies. Anybody that's in the industry will be here. So again, if you take the industry serious, you want to elevate, yourself and your company, please come on down to uh, Caesar's Palace, Las Vegas, Nevada, October 26th through the 29th, 2026. I'll be in the building. Drinks on you. I appreciate it. All right, we got that taken care of. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now the industry news is done. Let's read some comments real quick. All right. What's good, William? What's good, RV10 Flyer? This brother here, I don't know how to read Russian, so please forgive me. It looks like it says Poma Wu-Tang Clan. Shout out to you, brother. Greg B. Greg B's in the building. Greg B, what's good, bro? Long time no see, my guy. SQ Services, SQ, what's good? Scap, Scap, you're gonna love tonight's show. And that's why I'm coming to you tonight. Please, don't go nowhere, Scap. Stick around. You're gonna enjoy tonight's show. Please, please. You're gonna like my message. Alright? Steve Rivera, long time no see. Guys, tonight you're gonna hear why I'm shutting down my business. You're gonna hear why. I have to shut it down. I have to. Okay? But before I tell you why, let's get on over it. We gotta pay the bills and we gotta talk one more thing. Let's talk channel news. Ladies and gentlemen, it brings me great. Let's go ahead and shut this one down. Ladies and gentlemen, it brings me great joy. Brings me great honor and great pleasure to, ladies and gentlemen, present to you the appliance repair industry field gospel. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You looking at Brother B, the author. You looking at Brother B, the professor. You looking at Brother B, the instructor. Brother B, the YouTube personnel. But ladies and gentlemen, please show support to my book. You may ask yourself, What is this all about, Brother B? Well, I've created a manual, a 10-step commandment so that you make your business more profitable. I made a 10-step commandment so that you come home less stressful. I made a 10-step commandment of all the failures that I ever had happen to me across my life. And ladies and gentlemen, you may be asking yourself, well, Brother B, how do I get a hold of such a product? It'd be my absolute honor. Check this out. Ladies and gentlemen, please let me share my screen with y'all. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, go on and show support to Brother B. If you rocking with the channel, you show support to the appliance repair industry, and you wanna get a better understanding of, what the game has to offer. Again, ladies and gentlemen, please show support. I'll leave the link in the description bar. No, in the comment section. Pardon me. Let me drop this in the comment section. All right. And let me highlight this one. Boom. All right. So again, ladies and gentlemen, go on over to the comment section. Show Brother B some love. If you show support to the channel, if you about appliance repair, hey, we got a book. The appliance repair industry, we got a book. We did it, y'all. We in there now. We had to get a book in there. We did it. I want to shout out those who's been here before me, Eric Kleinhardt, and the host of other people who wrote phenomenal appliance repair books. Shout out to y'all. But we ain't here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's move on to our next line of business here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you. I gotta say this with humility, and I gotta say this with my ego removed. But ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce you to TMM Academics. Truly, ladies and gentlemen, we are the industry's finest hands-on appliance repair academy that's out there. Now, that's a bold statement, some people may say. Some people may say, where do I develop the gall to say such a thing? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've been in business now for about 5 years. My business partner, Richard Zilka, and I. And ladies and gentlemen, we've partnered with pretty much a host of people. Marcone, Encompass, Lockring, GE. Now you'll hear a story tonight. We also did a joint collaboration with Mr. Appliance. You'll hear about that success story tonight. We did a joint partnership with Mr. Appliance. So let's talk about that. All right. So, in case you don't know, ladies and gentlemen, we had our last seal system class last weekend. It was a success. The fine folks of Mr. Appliance reached out to us. They said, Brother B, and I want to send a special shout out to the one who made all of this happen. That's why you have to create good partnerships with your suppliers. You have to create good partnerships with the industry. It's not wise to, critique other businesses. It's not wise to go after people because ultimately you don't know tomorrow who can open up doors for you. And with that being said, Saul Flores of Marcone, South Florida sales manager, Southern manager, reached out to me and said, Brother B, I know you got this hands-on class, and the fine folks of Mr. Appliance Repair are scratching their heads about seal system repair. They're interested in learning how to do R600. They're interested in learning how to do, LGs. Can you help me out? What a better who better than me in my head, I'm thinking. I'm like, absolutely. So I speak to the gentleman. He sent over a few of his guys. Shout out to RD Appliance. They sent over one of their finest technician, young lad in the photo here. And ladies and gentlemen, they went through a 4-day hands-on uh seal system training. And if you remember earlier, my statement was, I believe we are the best. And again, that's why do I say that? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's our recipe. It's our formula. Unlike other facilities this out there, unlike other training platforms this out there, oftentimes you go to a conference, you go to a hands-on training, you go to a school, and what happens? You have one instructor talking, and oftentimes he has a laser pointer, and he's just pointing at slides and pointing at slides. And then you got a bunch of people in the back, one's falling asleep, the other one's, texting. Who knows? Is that effective? You got other facilities that they'll go and you'll get like one unit and you'll get like 10 guys standing around while one guy's working. Does that work? Mm. Not TMM academics. Ladies and gentlemen, let's be clear. When you come down to my facility, me and Richard, shall I say, it's different. What you experience is the following. You experience theory. You experience why are you doing what you're doing? How does the flow of refrigeration work? What are the components? What are your PT pressures? What are gauges? What does an evacuation mean? What is charging? You learn all these theories and these concepts. Then we partner you up with your own personal refrigerator. We give you the tools. You don't need to come down with them. We provide the training and you get to work on your own product. Now this is what separates me from everybody else. My magic happens because when you're working on your own product, guess what? You gotta light your own torches. You gotta hook up your own gauges. You gotta sand your own. You have to prep. So when you're doing your own work, it exposes you to your inefficiencies. So what does that do? It reveals to you, oh man, I gotta get better when I get back home. I gotta do this. I gotta work on that. But you still have the flow of the class. While this guy's taking out his compressor, you're doing the same thing. While that guy's taking out the condenser, the whole class is doing the same thing. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what sets us apart. That's what sets us apart. The fine folks of Mr. Appliance decided to send down some of their folks. In fact, we got one or two in the comment section. Please, let's give these fine folks a little love. Who we got in the building here? All right, Sean. Sean. Oh boy. Kreminski. Sean, I hope I didn't bomb you. Thank you for tapping in, Sean. I don't know if we didn't have a gentleman named Sean, but if we still, thank you for tuning in. We'd love to see you one day, perhaps down here in our training center. Okay, he's out of Nashville. All right, cool, man. That's awesome. Shout out to Nashville, and again, shout out to Mr. Appliance. So again, just to recap, ladies and gentlemen, when you come down here, you get your own product, you get your own unit. We work on R600, we work on 134A, and we give you real life refrigerators that we don't know what's wrong with them oftentimes. In fact, your fridge might be working. Your fridge may have, one of our students had a restriction in the Yoda loop. He had a restriction in the Yoda. And you know how we found that in class? Just troubleshooting. So these units come sometimes wrecked. One of the students, somebody put stop leak in it. So there was oil there. It was a real mess. We work on current appliances. What you see there is GEs, monograms, LGs, Samsungs. So, again, I'm not going to waste the entire night selling my product, but I don't get on here much. So allow me to talk my talk real quick. And yes, If you want further information, please don't hesitate, ladies and gentlemen. Go on over to tmmacademics.com, where again we give you the tools to succeed. Now, as far as our next hands-on event, I urge you, space is limited. Sign up now. Our next hands-on SEAL system event will be held Thursday, October 2nd, Friday, October 3rd, Saturday, October 4th, and Sunday, October 5th. It's a 4-day event, Thursday through Sunday, and again, it's a hands-on SEAL system training. Okay? For more information, go on over to www.tmmacademics.com/hands-on training. All right. I hope I didn't oversell you guys. And we can stop sharing. And I believe we took care of our channel news. All right. With that out the way, ladies and gentlemen, we took care of channel news, industry news, and now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. Why did you click on tonight's show? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I have to dissolve my business. I'm going to get into it. Stick around for an episode of Story Time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a nice episode of Story Time. I have to shut down my business. Before I tell you why, it's important to know how I got here. It's important to know what led up to these events. Ladies and gentlemen, I began doing appliance repair when I was 30 years old. I'm 44 now. I started in San Diego, California. I got my training um in HVAC school, and I purchased this big book called How to Troubleshoot Major Appliances, Volume 3 by Eric Kleiner, and a bunch of YouTube University, and I threw myself out there. I would moonlight. What I would do is I would work as an electronic bench tester Monday through Friday, like 7 to 3:30. And after that, I would go run one or two calls thereafter. Well, what happened was Sears reached out to me one day and had me partner with them, part of their Sears home warranty service. At that point, I started doing like 5, 10, 15 calls daily with them. I even expanded, got technicians, hired a CSR, grew a company. It started to flourish. Things went well. I got about 33, 34, met the mother of my daughter, and she told me we should go to Atlanta because she had a job offer. We moved to Atlanta. I sold my business to one of my technicians in San Diego. He purchases it. It's still flourishing. He's still running it. Shout out to him. It kicks. If you watching this, one love. I moved to Alpharetta, Georgia, to be clear. As I'm in Alpharetta, Georgia, again, I partner with Sears, so I'm one of their preferred vendors. You know why? Because when I was in San Diego, I was doing my thing. So the field service manager from San Diego reached out to the field service manager from Atlanta, Georgia, and he told them, bring this guy on board and you won't regret it. I got to Georgia on Monday. By Thursday, I was running calls for Sears again. I was getting paid like $100 per call that I ran for them. So, at that time in Georgia, I was trying to run like 5, 6 calls a day. Right? Now, I did that for a while, but Georgia really wasn't my thing. I left Georgia, came to the sunny state of Florida. Again, I got with Sears, got part of their home warranty service, signed back up, got employed with them, but I started to diversify a little. I started to do business with companies such as 210 Home Buyers Warranty, American First Choice Home Warranty, National Service, all these different third parties. And then 2020 came around. At 2020, COVID hit. At that time, Sears customers didn't want technicians in their house because there was the whole ordeal of vaccine and who was vaccinated and the mask and all that. So Sears temporarily halted services. I had all my eggs in one basket, which is one of the rules that I speak about not doing in the field gospel shameless plug. But when Sears said we're not sending no more third party warranties out, guys, all my technicians left. I had to start my marketing strategy all over. This was about 6 years into me doing appliance repair. I've been doing it about 12, 13 now. So at about halfway of my all that I knew about business, I had to restructure everything. I started going to ASTI. These same places that I was telling you about earlier, I started going there. Shortly thereafter, I started signing up with all these companies. Bertazzoni, Midea, LG, Hisense, Viking, you name it, LeCanche. I don't even know. It's been so many throughout the years. Third party warranties. All these places, I signed up with all of them. And then I started realizing how difficult it was to really run a business. You see, unlike with Sears, it was one portal, one centralized portal. They were using a platform called Service Live at the time. I'm not sure what they're using now because I'm not part of that network no more. But you would get paid in 2 days. 2 days you would get paid for the labor and the part. And they were pretty flexible with part manipulation. You could upsell a little. So, it boosts your labor up a little. Don't look at it like 100. There was a little wiggle room in that. But nonetheless, you get about. Sears was so thirsty. At that time, they were sending you as many calls as you wanted. But like I said, fast forward, when they dropped me, I had to start all over. My market employee. Now I'm signing up with companies like LG. Oh man, there's so many. I don't even want to go through the names of them. But I've been doing this over a decade. So imagine how many companies. But you know what I started noticing? The politics that came with it. I started noticing that when it was time for me to get uh paid, I started noticing the difficulties of some companies was making you wait 30 days to get paid. But what they not saying is that when you close out the order, if you put one thing wrong in that order, they'll reject it. Oh, you didn't put the correct serial number, you didn't cross the T, you didn't dot the I, they'd reject it. And then oftentimes you have to wait 4 to 5 days for them to review it again and then wait the 30. I started putting out more money. I was putting out so much money up front and just getting killed to get it on the back end. And I had to go run the calls. Let's not talk about that. I had to go run these calls, buy my own parts. And I'm not complaining. It's business. And that's not why well, that's part of why I'm shutting it down. Another thing I didn't like was I was becoming a debt collector. I didn't like the fact that, I would get to the call. I would tell the customer, it's going to be X amount. I'm going to send you a link. Can you please pay it? And then they would pay it, or they would drag their feet, pull out their phone. They don't have Wi-Fi. They forgot their password. They can't see. They need glasses. It takes sometimes 30, 45, 50 minutes for the customer to pay me. So you know what? I would be like, all right, look, I'm gonna send you this link. Just take care of it, okay? All right, no problem. I'd leave. I had other calls to run. Plus go home and deal with all these portals and uploading invoices and dealing with this and dealing with that. So hold on, let me read this comment. I thought Sears went out of business. Yeah, brother. Let me bring Steve. Thank you for tapping in. Thank you for watching. Steve, just to bring you up to speed, in 2013 up until about 2020 is when I was doing their warranty. So this was a past tense. From 2020 up until 2025 is when I begin the new marketing era. There's no more Sears. Now it's LG, Midea, Her Hisense, Bertazzoni, NSA, 210, Lacanche, On Point, AFC. There's all these people that I was doing business with. You understand? And again, the COD people, all right? The regular people that will find me just off Google, I was dealing with them too. So again, one man, one man, I was doing, I was working 12, 14 hours every day, every day, every day. Now, I'm not mad. And you know what? That's business. And you know what? I probably would not have shut it down. I would have still been filing. I still would have been, hacking at it. I still would have been not giving up. Let's do it. I would have been motivated. I was never slow. I just was pissed off at, I wasn't an appliance repairman. I was a debt collector. I had to become a debt collector. That was one thing. And then the second reason why the main reason why I have to shut it down is, ladies and gentlemen, y'all forget who I mean, I forget who I am sometimes. Ladies and gentlemen, respectfully, I'm YouTube's premier. Off the clock appliance repair talk for off the clock appliance repair text. Look at what these comments say. Where you been? Long time don't see. I gave up on YouTube. I don't come on here like I should. I gave up on TMM Academics. I'm not promoting that like I should. Let me tell you some business deals that I haven't even looked at. Ladies and gentlemen, when I went to Marcone, MSA, right? Last year. No, this year in March or February, I forget when it was. I fly out to Marcone's convention center. Me and my business partner Rick, we put on a 2-day training, right? It's not hands-on because we can't bring our equipment from Miami to Vegas. I can't fly fridges and torches and vases. You can't do that. So instead, we did what we hate to do. We were the guys with the laser pointers. But we kind of were a little rebellious because we stole our, well, not steal. We removed our refrigerators. They were all 600 out of our hotel rooms, and we brought them downstairs as props. So at least guys could feel the filter dryer relays and so forth. But nonetheless, we put on our own seal system out there in Marcone. And ladies and gentlemen, the whole class was full. Top to bottom, they were stealing chairs from the other manufacturers. Some other trainings were like, hey, who's stealing our chairs? People were lining up against the wall. Some people were sitting on the floor. It was a fire hazard. The room had exceeded more than the people who went were more than the room could handle. So it was unsafe. But that's when the light bulb went off. And then when it was done, those same attendees went back to the Marcone reps, whoever was hosting the convention. And they were like, look, those TMM academics guys, where you get them from? We need more of them. Whoop-de-whoop. Next thing you know, during the vendor party, right? Because when you go to these conventions, there's little parties for like the vendors, people who go out there who sell their course, people who spend money and the instructors. So they do a little VIP for us. And in that, I'm rubbing shoulders to shoulders with the market reps from all the different territories. This is the money that I'm leaving on the table, right? Just so that you know. Let's talk something. I did a me and my business partner Richard Zilka, we did a hands-on training for the Pompano area, which is South Florida. We had 16 attendees sign up. 1-6. Now, the when I was telling you the story about that VIP party that they invited us with, the reps from like Charlotte, these is the cities that I could remember. I got their cards. I haven't even had a chance to call them. Charlotte, DC, Boston, Ma- um, Maryland, the West Coast, Seattle, Washington, Oregon, Dallas. Um, Damn, did he say Houston? Like two, three cities in Texas. All these Marcone sales reps was like, look, how do we get you to come to our city? We got the people that would attend this. What do we do? I couldn't say no. I was like, oh, I tell this to y'all, but I was like, oh yeah, yeah. We'll facilitate it. We'll make it happen. Meanwhile, in the back of my head, I'm like, damn, Bertazzoni still owe me. My Dia still owe me. LaCash owe me a check. Miss Dolores from down the street, she ain't give me my PayPal. I'm thinking of my business. And man, I can't do all that, man. I can't do all that. That's just the training, okay? Stay with me. This is just the training with Marcone. All right? Stay with me. Now, other people and other definitely come check back, brother. Other companies reached out to me. For example, I just told you Mr. Appliance, right? Mr. Appliance. We all know Mr. Appliance, right? They found out about TMM Academics. They just sent me over one batch. Now they want to send me the next wave, the next batch. I don't want to go no more further. But they now they want our service. I gotta attend to that. I gotta attend to that. I gotta attend to these opportunities. I gotta leave the repair side alone and move over now to instructor. It's a lot of opportunity there. That's just one thing. I don't have time for my YouTubes no more. My business is taking over my life. I don't have time for nothing. Let's continue. I don't promote my book. This released last month. I didn't even have a grand opening. I didn't have the release, the sig. I couldn't even promote it right. When you run a business, it's a daunting task. And anybody that does it, you understand what I'm saying. But now I invite you to be a YouTuber. I invite you that you have these opportunities. Oh, and private. Let me not mention the amount of people that reach out to me privately. Hey, I want to fly down and take your quay. I can't facilitate it while I'm running. I can't. And I had to make a decision. I had to make a decision. And you know, there's another hustle I do too, guys. It's another hustle I do too. Those when these guys come down here and they work on these fridges, I've turned around and when they fixed, I sell them. I sell them. I sell the fridges to these. I go to some calls that you tell them like, oh, $100 diagnostic fee or whatever, and you thinking like these are some serious people who are ready to invest just to arrive to some Magic Chef dishwasher with an analog dial, and they're complaining about it not cleaning right, and you're like, what the hell is this? Or some busted down fridge. I've I sell better products for cheaper than what it would cost them to repair the crap they have. So man, I'm gonna start all those fridges these guys come down here and fix. I sell them. I break down the parts. I have an eBay store. Let me show you. I came prepared with receipts tonight. Let me show you my metrics, if you will. They're in shambles, but I'll show you them. Hold on. How you do share screen here? Boom. eBay. Again, before I bring up this screen, remember, I don't have the time to do this. But let me show, no, no, no. Before I show you my eBay store and my metrics, let me show you, let me show you my inventory. It's not logged. I haven't had time to buy the shelving for it. I'll spare you the words. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Let me show you what I'm working with. Where's these images? Bear with me, y'all. Share the entire screen. All right, check this out. I got a whole warehouse, not a warehouse. You know them public storages or them outdoor storages where you drive your car up, you punch in a code, the gate opens and you lift the thing and it's a whole I got a 3-bedroom apartment one, okay? Full of this kind of stuff. Let me show you the rest. And this is not even everything. This is when I was starting. You should see it now. I can't even walk inside of it. Brand new. Can y'all see this? Let me change this screen. Brand new. In this again, I could show you the updated one in the near future. It's to the roof now. I can't fit nothing else in there no more. I have an eBay store. Let me show you my sincere metrics. I haven't had time to post, so please don't laugh at my numbers, please. How you do? Okay. So now, in the last 90 days, I sold a very humble 452 bucks. But to my simple defense, I only I only posted those 113 items in like one weekend. And like when I was really doing it every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, I was making like five, six, 700. No, I don't want to over exaggerate. Let's say six, 700 a week. Just posting images. People were buying buying my parts, six, 700 a week. So again, just to put things into perspective, right, I started thinking. I said, man, I got my store, right? Let me stop sharing. I got all this opportunities with all these partners. They want me to come, me and my business partner, Richard Zilka, and they want us to teach for them. I'm leaving that money on the table. I haven't even touched it. I'm leaving all this well, I can't get into the Mr. Appliance thing yet, but That's a whole avalanche now of things that like I gotta give that attention. I gotta give that opportunity is too sweet. I can't turn that down. I can't turn it down. I gotta go with that route. And then in addition to that, I told you I still do my sales. I sell appliances. I'll do parts, and most importantly, I've still got all my referral customers after 13 years. You know how many people got my number? You know how many refrigerators my sticker is in? Organically, you know how many seeds I've sowed? So, you know, guys, I've decided I'm gonna dissolve the business. I'm not gonna walk away from the appliance repair industry. I'm just gonna focus my attention on other things. I'd like to travel. I'd like to go city to city. I'd like to push my product across nationwide. I'd like to tap into those different cities. They don't know me on YouTube. Think of how many eyes I'd reach with them now. Think of all these other people I can't talk about. Like, it's just I'm good, man. And then all that just to be fighting to for 30 days and that man, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good, I'm good. I'm good. I'll get it out the mud some other way. Ladies and gentlemen, be clear. When I had a 9 to 5 and I took a leap of faith and got into business on my own, people thought I was crazy. Now, man, I think I'm gonna step away from the business a little and I'm gonna go the training route. I'm gonna partner with some of these firms some of them that I may mention. I want to explore travel now. I want to explore, instructing in these different markets. I want to dip my toes into that. And I'm ready to pivot. I'm not gonna, and I want to see y'all more. Expect me now every week on a set day. I haven't decided yet, but you guys are gonna see me now more on YouTube. I have time for this. I'll be able to give you guys, you know what I'm saying? More YouTube. But the business was just overwhelming. I'm gonna step back for a little bit. Stay tuned. Walk with me as I make this career shift. Again, I'm not leaving it. I'm still in the business. I still run my calls, you know, but nah, I gotta explore other options, ladies and gentlemen. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of tonight's show. I want to appreciate y'all for tuning in. Again, I'm not going nowhere. Y'all still gonna see me. I'm still here. I'm still in the appliance repair game. I'm just gonna, be dipping my toes in other avenues. Uh, don't worry. We're still gonna be uploading amazing uh videos from Brother Rick. We're still gonna be uploading stuff. You're still gonna see us. We're still gonna be around. We just gonna push training now. Hardcore. I got your book off Amazon. That's my boy. Yo, Arzu, you the man. Arzu, you heard? You the man, Arzu. I love you, son. All right, what's Aaron? So Aaron, what's good? Aaron says, be careful about Mr. Appliances. They take a cut off your profits. But again, brother, I don't know. That relationship, I don't know that relationship because I'm not approaching them from that perspective. Our relationship is, hey, look, you fly your guys out here to South Florida, we're gonna train them, and whatever business is done on the back end is done on the back end, and I didn't have no problems with them. But thank you for the comment. That's my boy. Said, what's good? Said, you good? Big homie right there. I ain't see you in a minute, man. It's good to see you. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it, man. Before we get up out of here, again, please show support. Hit the like button. Go on over to our website, www.tmmacademics.com. Please sign up to our next class in October 7th. Please show support to the book. Go on over to Amazon. Check it out. It's called Field Gospel, the 10 Unwritten Laws Every Tech Should Know. All right, guys, I love y'all. It's been a pleasure. Thank y'all for tuning in. Love, peace, and harmony. Good night. Play a little outro theme music. Nah, I'll spare y'all. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. God bless.